Note that this worksheet does not have a general ledger account to it. What we have are the journal entries, and we're posting that journal entry in a shortened fashion to this worksheet to see the ending trial balance. If we go to the homework over here, then, and this is going to be an example of the homework, the numbers are slightly different in this example, but the format is the same. And we scroll down, we can enter the journal entries into this transactions for each journal entry, hit the next button, and complete these journal entries. Note that many of our journal entries, of course, if we scroll back to the Excel sheet, only have 2 accounts per entry. So the format of these accounts will basically be 2 accounts per entry. If we put in these 2, we'll still have a lot of yellow blank lines, so don't let that throw you off. Then you would go to the next one and you can enter the second journal entry, and so on and so forth. If you filled out the Excel sheet, then if you scrolled all the way down to the bottom, you would be able to fill out this sheet here. Note though that this sheet is in terms of debits on the left, credits on the right, no brackets. So if I was to pull this to the left and put the Excel sheet on the right, I'm only concerned with the final column over here, and the debits are going to be over here. They'll be positive numbers, 51612. But for example, the credit, which is represented by brackets in this case, accounts payable, would be down here in accounts payable on the credit side, and I would enter it with no brackets, 2000. And that's going to be a difference between the reporting, between these 2 formats of reporting. You'll see both of these types of formats within practice. Now, if we scroll up to the general ledger, then what we need to do here is, this is the backup to the account, or it's what we use generally to build the chart of accounts in this fashion. Now over here we just posted it to this adjusting entries, but of course we can't see the detail too easily that way. So what we would do to see more detail is to build the general ledger, and then the general ledger, the ending balance in the general ledger would then be the ending balance in the trial balance. So there's a couple ways we could fill this out. We could go journal entry by journal entry, so I could go to this first journal entry and we would look for advertising expense and cash. So I see cash here, it's in order assets, then liabilities, owner's equity, income and expense. And if we put in the cash balance as of the 12th and the amount that we got, it's a credit represented in the credit column. So I'm just posting this to the general ledger, 1010, enter. And then I'm looking for advertising expense. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm looking for expenses. So we're down here, there's the capital account, here's revenue. Now we're in expenses, so we have depreciation, insurance, mileage, repairs. I'm going to scroll over to the other side, and here's advertising expense. So as of 12/2 in my case, I'm going to go to 12/2, and we will then post the debit to advertising 1010. And note what that does to the total. It puts that up to here. And so now we have equal number of debits and credits in the general ledger. So we can keep on going through that process. We can look for repairs expense. So if I look for repairs expense, it's right here. So we have as of, in this case, and you might want to highlight these as we go. We could try to say these and I say, okay, I have found that one. And we have posted it, so I could highlight these and try to indicate that somehow and say, okay, I'm going to make that yellow and say that we have finished that. I'm now working on this one, and that's on 12/3, so I can say as of December 3rd, we have a debit of $430. And then I'm going to scroll up to the cash account, and we will then have as of 12/3, we have a credit, in this case, of $430. And that should, over the total accounts, total GL, put us back in balance again. So here's the amount that would be on the trial balance if this is all we had posted. So you can keep on going through every journal entry and just post them to the GL. Once you're done with that, then your ending numbers in the GL account, for example, cash, the ending GL number, once we post all these down here, should equal the 51,612, should equal your Excel sheet here. The other way that you could try to do this, if you would like to, is double click on the individual entries that we have, and we can then also use if you go to the data and Formulas tab, and you use these icons here, then that will point to all the cells that are going to this account. Also, if the sheet is protected, you may have to unprotect it. The way you do that is you go to review. If this says it's protected, then you click it and it'll go to unprotected, and then you should be able to have some more functionality. Again, I only protect the sheets in order to try to prevent you from deleting formulas you really don't want to delete. And so then you'll have the access over here. This tells you, and if you double click on it too, it gives you that highlighted number. It tells you everything that's in there. So that might be a bit faster way. I put those into my formula bar up here, and if I pull this on this side, then I can go up to cash and say, okay, that went into cash here. There's the 410. Here's 412. So I can go down to 412. Sorry, 44 is what I'm on. I just recorded this one. And that has a cash account, and I might just want to highlight the fact that I'm just recording the cash accounts now, so I might just highlight that. And this one is a debit of 350, and then I could see cash here, so I might want to highlight that, say, okay, I'm finding this one, and this one is on 1210, and I could say, okay, that's a credit of 690. Then we could go, okay, here's the next time we see cash, and so on and so forth, and highlight that and say, okay, that's on 1214, and this is a debit of 1800, and so on. And then I could try to do this account by account. Once I record all those, I can click this icon, or it's also in the formulas group, this icon, to take those away. Either double click, which will highlight everything in the next item. Obviously cash has the most stuff posted to it. Or use these again, it's in the formulas tab, formula auditing trace, and that'll tell you what's in there. And then I can pull this to the side and say, okay, now I'm on accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is the next account, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to post that. Say that this is as of 12/4. We're going to credit 4350, and the next time it happens is all the way down here in accounts receivable. I'm going to highlight that. We're going to record this side of it on 12/28, and that's a credit of 3700, and so on. So this is a fairly tedious process. Obviously, a computer system such as QuickBooks will do this for you, but it's really good to try to build this by scratch so that we can see what the GL looks like and how it can then format the trial balance. Also, because once we use the QuickBooks, we want to be able to see how we can get from the trial back to the GL. What kind of information will be on the GL that we can derive when we want to drill down and get more information than what is on the trial balance.